How did a land without great rivers, without vast oceans, without abundant resources become the spiritual heart of half the world? This is the story of Israel and Palestine. Two peoples, two lands bound by faith, scarred by history, and still full of life. A place where the past breathes in every stone, where prayers echo across generations, and where hope refuses to die. So, if you're not in a hurry, take a moment, stay with us, and uncover the mysteries hidden deep within the soul of this ancient land. Jerusalem, a city that has been destroyed twice, besieged 23 times, attacked 52 times, and captured and recaptured 44 times. And yet, after thousands of years, it remains the spiritual heart of over 3 billion people around the world. Tucked between the sunshed rocks of the Middle East, where the desert meets the sky and the wind whispers like a forgotten myth, Jerusalem rises not as a city, but as a mystery waiting to be unraveled. Small enough to walk across in a few hours, yet vast in the weight of untold stories etched into every stone. This is not merely a location on a map. It is where earth and heaven brush against each other, where whispered prayers in the night echo alongside morning church bells, and where three of the world's great faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, trace their sacred steps back to this very ground. Each belief opens a different passage into a maze of spiritual depth, woven through with history, hope, and human longing. And somehow, through centuries of conflict, walls torn down and rebuilt, Jerusalem still stands, not just with stone and mortar, but with unshaken spirit. It endures in the quiet glow of devotion, in the tears of pilgrims who touch its ancient walls for the first time, as if brushing against something beyond logic, beyond time. The relationship between Israel and Palestine is one of the most complex, painful, and emotionally charged stories in modern human history. It is a story woven from ancient memory and modern trauma, from competing dreams and incompatible fears, from sacred scriptures and bitter contemporary realities. It is a story where every stone, every olive tree, every prayer, every border, every name, and every loss carries the weight of entire generations. It is not simply a conflict over land. It is a struggle over identity, belonging, dignity, and the right to exist with security and hope. And yet, despite the sorrow, despite the bloodshed, this is also a story illuminated by courage, resilience, and the quiet, often forgotten, human desire for peace. To understand the relationship between Israel and Palestine, We must begin not just with dates or treaties, but with the emotional foundations of both peoples. For Jews, the land of Israel is the cradle of their ancient civilization, their spiritual homeland for more than 3,000 years. It is where Hebrew prophets walked, where ancient kings built temples, where countless generations prayed to return after exile. For many Jews, the creation of the modern state of Israel was not merely a political project, it was a rebirth, a healing after nearly 2,000 years of dispersion, persecution, and the unimaginable tragedy of the Holocaust. For them, Israel is not simply a place, it is a sanctuary, a testament to survival. For Palestinians, the same land holds the memory of centuries of rooted life. Villages, orange groves, olive orchards, family homes passed through generations. The hills and valleys of Palestine shaped their culture, their poetry, their recipes, their songs, their sense of who they are. For Palestinians, the land is not just geography, it is identity, it is dignity. It is the memory of weddings under fig trees, of children running through old markets, of grandparents teaching prayers under desert skies. Their displacement in 1948, what they call the Nakba, remains one of the defining traumas of their collective memory, a wound that never healed. Both peoples, therefore, are bound to the same land by powerful emotional and historical cords, and herein lies the tragedy. Two nations, both with deep historical ties, both with legitimate dreams, both with real fears, seeking security, belonging, and recognition on a land too small to absorb their trauma. In 1948, when the State of Israel was declared, Jewish survivors of genocide saw hope. Palestinians saw their world collapse. Israelis saw independence. Palestinians saw exile. Israelis saw salvation. Palestinians saw catastrophe. What one nation celebrated, the other mourned. That emotional fracture has defined the relationship ever since. Over the ensuing decades, war followed war. 1948, 1956, 1967, 1973, the Lebanese War, the Intifadas, Gaza wars. Each conflict etched deeper scars into the hearts of both peoples. Israeli families mourned sons and daughters killed, trying to protect a homeland they believed was constantly under threat. Palestinian families mourned sons and daughters killed while living under occupation, displacement, siege, and daily hardship. Each side saw the suffering of their own, and the pain of the other became hidden behind walls of fear, anger, or mistrust. Fear is the most powerful force shaping this relationship. For Israelis, fear is tied to a long history of persecution, pogroms, expulsions, ghettos, genocide. The memory of helplessness lives deep within the Jewish psyche. Every rocket, every stabbing, every act of terror reignites the ancient fear of annihilation. Many Israelis believe that without military strength, their existence would once again be threatened. For Palestinians, fear is born from decades of dispossession. Checkpoints, demolitions, restrictions, arrests, and statelessness. Many have never known a life without occupation, without watching land shrink, movement restricted, futures uncertain. For them, fear is tied to erasure the fear that their identity, their homeland, their rights will fade into history unless they resist. Both fears are real, both fears are justified, and both fears imprison the future. Politically, The conflict has been shaped by failed negotiations, broken promises, shifting borders, and leaders who could not or would not bridge the divide. The Oslo Accords of the 1990 seconds raised hopes of coexistence, but settlement expansion, violence, political fragmentation, and spoilers on both sides crushed the dream. Trust evaporated. Extremists grew louder. Moderates grew weaker. Gaza split from the West Bank. Militants gained power. Israeli politics shifted rightward. Palestinians lost faith in diplomacy. Walls rose literal and emotional. The story of Israel and Palestine is far from over, but it is not doomed to end in despair. As long as there is even one voice on each side calling for justice, dignity, equality, and understanding, the possibility of a different future remains alive. And perhaps one day, the children of this land, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, will grow up not as prisoners of history, but as authors of a new chapter. A chapter where identity is not built on fear, where borders do not divide destiny, where both peoples stand not in ruins but in reconciliation. The land has waited for that chapter, for generations. The world hopes it will one day be written, and the people, despite all the pain, deserve nothing less. Jerusalem is the place where King Solomon built the first temple believed to be the earthly dwelling of God among humankind. That temple was destroyed by the Babylonians around the year 586 BCE, and all that remains today is a portion of the Western Wall. Yet that very wall, known as the Wailing Wall, has become an eternal symbol of Jewish resilience and faith, a place where prayers are whispered, tears are shed, and hopes are tucked between the stones like letters to the heavens. For Christians, Jerusalem is a place of pilgrimage, constantly alive with the footsteps of the faithful. It is where Jesus Christ spent his final moments on earth, where he carried his cross to Golgotha, was crucified, and where the empty tomb is believed to mark his resurrection. All of these sacred events are remembered in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Millions of pilgrims from across the globe come to bow before the stone of anointing where his body was prepared for burial, a deeply spiritual moment that seems to still the air inside the church. Throughout Jerusalem, every stone seems to bear the imprint of Jesus' footsteps. After the Last Supper, he went to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray in solitude before being arrested and brought before religious and Roman authorities. The next morning, he carried his cross along the narrow Via Dolorosa, the way of sorrows to Golgotha, where he was crucified in an act of sacrifice for humanity's salvation. 3 days later, according to Christian belief, he rose from the dead, a triumph of life over death and the very foundation of Christian faith. That is why every street corner, every dome, and every worn step in Jerusalem is not just a historical trace, but a place overflowing with faith and longing, drawing millions in quiet reverence and reflection. The Muslim Quarter, the largest of the four, radiates vibrant life with bustling bazaars, ancient mosques, and the call to prayer. Muslims, it is believed to be the place of the Last Judgment, where a bridge will appear over the chasm below, allowing the righteous to cross in echoing from tall minarets. For Muslims, Jerusalem is the starting point of one of the most miraculous journeys in the Quran, the Isra and Miraj. According to tradition, it was from a sacred rock on the Temple Mount that the Prophet Muhammad was carried by an angel into the heavens to meet with God. To honor this moment, Muslims built the Dome of the Rock. Its radiant golden dome, visible from nearly every corner of the old city, standing like a beacon of eternal faith. And then there is the Armenian Quarter. Small, quiet, yet remarkably enduring. Tucked behind old stone walls and ancient monasteries, the Armenian community is like a low, steady note in the vibrant symphony of this sacred city. They do not seek attention or acclaim, yet they faithfully preserve their language rituals and ancestral faith, a quiet flame that has continued to burn through the winds of time. In a city shaped by countless cultures and voices, the Armenian Quarter remains a testament to unwavering loyalty to one's roots. As if every stone here knows the stories of those who never shouted but steadfastly lived by their own truth. Not far from the heart of the old city lies the Mount of Olives, a sacred site revered by all three major monotheistic religions. For Jews, it is the final resting place of more than 150,000 people, all buried facing Jerusalem, a silent testament to their unwavering belief in the resurrection. For Christians, the mountain is intimately linked with the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus prayed before his arrest, and with the Chapel of the Ascension, which commemorates the moment he departed from this world. For O Paradise, located just south of Jerusalem, Bethlehem is a small city that holds immense significance both religiously and politically. According to Christian tradition, it is the birthplace of King David. For this reason, the city is revered as the cradle of the Christian faith. At the heart of modern-day Bethlehem stands the Church of the Nativity. Built in the 4th century by order of Emperor Constantine, it remains a powerful witness to history. Beneath the main altar lies the 14-pointed silver star that marks the exact spot where, according to tradition, Christ was born. Each year, hundreds of thousands of faithful pilgrims from around the world gather here to pray, sing, and commemorate the very first Christmas night. Yet, Bethlehem is not only a place that preserves sacred light, it is also a city struggling with reality. Deeply affected by the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Bethlehem is divided by a towering concrete separation wall more than 8 meters high, cutting through the city, separating land, people, and hope. And then, amidst the cold grey slabs of concrete, another voice emerges, the voice of resistance through art. Banksy has transformed the walls of Bethlehem into a giant canvas, expressing messages of politics, peace, and humanity. Works such as Flower, Thrower, Girl Frisking Soldier, and Dove with Bulletproof Vest have made the world stop and listen. Amid the ancient legends of the Holy Land, the Ark of the Covenant, also known as the Chest of God, stands as one of the most sacred and mysterious religious symbols in human history. According to the Hebrew Bible, it was a gold-covered acacia wood chest that held the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments, a jar of manna, and Aaron's rod. Atop the ark were golden cherubim, forming the mercy seat, the place where God's presence was believed to dwell. To the ancient Israelites, the ark was the physical manifestation of God's presence on earth. It was housed in the Holy of Holies, where only the high priest could enter once a year on Yom Kippur. It was also regarded as a divine weapon that led Israel to victory. But after the Babylonian destruction of the First Temple in 586 BCE, the ark vanished and remains one of history's greatest mysteries. If Jerusalem and Bethlehem are places where stories of faith are told, then the Judean desert speaks of silence and unwavering devotion. Mars Saba Monastery, founded in the 5th century, rises from the cliffs like a stone fortress of ascetic life. Women are not allowed inside and may only view it from a hilltop. Nearby lies Jericho, the oldest continuously inhabited city an oasis that flourished for over 10,000 years. Despite the harshness of the desert, wildlife thrives. The Nubian ibex, the silent barn owl, the tool-using Egyptian vulture, the caracal leaping 3 meters into the air, the peregrine falcon diving at 300 kilometers per hour, and the chameleon with its color-changing skin and lightning-fast tongue. Their existence shows that life never gives up. Next, welcome to the lowest point on Earth, the Dead Sea, 430 meters below sea level. A hypersaline lake where no organism can survive, yet it offers therapeutic minerals and effortless flotation. Since ancient times, its mud and salts were treasured, even by Cleopatra. But the Dead Sea is shrinking rapidly due to water diversion, creating sinkholes and threatening the region. Near Qumran, a shepherd discovered the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947, over 900 manuscripts, offering insight into the spiritual world of the Second Temple period. Then there is Masada, the desert fortress built by Herod. After the fall of Jerusalem in 70 CE, nearly 1,000 Jewish rebels chose death over Roman enslavement. Masada stands today as a symbol of resistance and the enduring human spirit. In the harsh Negev desert lies Maktesh Ramon, a colossal erosion crater over 40 kilometers long. With its colored rock layers, towering cliffs, and sweeping views, it feels like another world. Not volcanic and not from a meteor impact. It formed through millions of years of erosion that carved out a monumental natural basin. It is a geological treasure and one of the finest stargazing places in the Middle East. Maktesh Ramon proves that nature, with time and patience, shapes wonders beyond imagination. Our journey through Israel and Palestine reveals a land where faith, memory, and humanity intertwine across millennia.